Oh yes, we're back at it again. The Arizona Cardinals versus the Seattle Seahawks battle for the NFC West. Obviously, the Seattle Seahawks are having an amazing season, starting off with 5-0, but the Arizona Cardinals being at the second place, being at 4-2, we might see a little upset this coming weekend, guys. That's what we're going to dive into today. Go ahead and roll that intro. Alright guys, welcome back in. Now, like I mentioned in the intro, what I wanted to talk about was Week 7 preview, Arizona Cardinals versus the Seattle Seahawks. Before we get started, obviously, let's do our due diligence. If you're new, please consider subscribing to the AZ Sports Fan on YouTube. Don't forget to drop a like and make sure you ring that notification bell. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into it here. I feel like this is going to be kind of an easy preview. I feel like the Arizona Cardinal fans are, very familiar with the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are very familiar with the Arizona Cardinal fans, just kind of like the game plan and all that different stuff. It's really, really weird. The trend seems to be whenever the Seahawks come to State Farm Stadium, they end up beating us. Whenever we go to CenturyLink Field, we end up beating them. I don't know what it is, but that seems to be the trend the past few years. Now, I hope that trend stops because we need to get a win here. We need to be able to stay in line within the division. Obviously, if we get a W here, we're not going to be number one, but it's just going to get us that much closer and cause more separation from the other two teams that are within our division right now. Now, as far as players to look out for, I feel like this is kind of an easy one. Russell Wilson being number one. This guy's playing lights out right now, probably playing his best type of football in the quarterback position. He is in line to become maybe the MVP of this year. So definitely Russell Wilson is one of those guys that I like to say is a magician. Sometimes it seems like he's down, but all he needs to do is spin out of it, and he can make a lot of things happen, not only with his legs, but just the freak things that he does. He makes wide receivers that are not very good make him look really awesome with all the stuff that he can go ahead and do. So obviously, number one, Russell Wilson, he needs to be contained. Now, if I can go ahead and say this one thing here, the last time we played against Russell Wilson, when we ended up going to CenturyLink Field, that's the type of game plan I need the Arizona Cardinals to have. I need Russell Wilson to be constantly harassed in the pocket. Well, if need be, we can go ahead and get a spy out there, because you know very well that whenever he gets pressure, he's a very good quarterback and coming out of those sticky situations. So make sure that we have spies whenever need be, and making sure that there's always pressure caused on Russell Wilson so he's able to kind of get flustered and not have anywhere to go to. Player number two is going to be obviously none other than his probably favorite target, DK Metcalf. This guy's having a pretty good season on his own as well. He's coming into his second year within the NFL. This guy is a freak of nature. He's 6'4", but not only he's a big body, but this guy has speed like I haven't seen in quite some time. I believe he ran like a 4.3 in the 40, and this guy, he's amazing. Let me just tell you that right now. Now, obviously, I would hope Patrick Peterson would be able to lock him down, but I think Patrick Peterson is at this age right now that all we can really ask for, for his perspective is to contain him. He's not going to be able to lock him down, but if we can contain those deep shots to DK Metcalf, I feel like that would be a win. But DK Metcalf is a freak of a nature. He's going to be able to get his catches and probably a touchdown. So we're going to have to accept that this probably might be a shootout of a game, but as long as we're able to contain him and he's not able to make those big plays that are basically game changing, then I think at that point we should be good. Obviously, number three is going to be none other than Chris Carson. I put him at number three. I know he's a pretty good running back. I personally don't think he's like a great running back, but he's a really good running back to, whatever this offense is running with Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. It works very, very well for this system for the Seahawks. Whenever, there's nothing down the field, he can always go ahead and give it to Chris Carson. One of the biggest things that Chris Carson struggles with is basically staying on the field. I feel like every time there's a season coming along, he's hurt either 1 or 2 games, or he's done for the season. So I think that's one of the biggest things for Chris Carson, is to remain healthy, and he could probably have 1,000 yards, a career if he's able to stay healthy. But I do think he's a player to watch for this game, because if he can get loose, then it can be a really, really ugly situation. If we could somehow maintain Chris Carson like we did to Ezekiel Elliott within that Dallas Cowboys game, then I feel like we would be really, really good. Moving on to our 3 keys to success here, I feel like it's very, very imperative for Kyler Murray to be the number one here. We all ride and die with Kyler Murray. If he has a fantastic game either on the ground or throwing, we most likely will win. If he has a terrible game and still overthrowing a lot of wide receivers and not connecting with those deep shots, then we most likely probably will not win. So Kyler Murray, it's very important for him to get going. I hope, right now that, we have practices going on, that they emphasize, why he's overthrowing players. If it is indeed that he can't see over the O-line and he really thinks that's the type of throw that he's supposed to make, then I feel like the coaching staff should really, really work with him and making sure that he gets the reps with the offensive linemen so he's able to see through the holes. I think somebody asked Russell Wilson that some time ago because, I think Russell Wilson might just have centimeters on Kyler Murray, but let's be honest here, Russell Wilson is a pristine thrower. I can't really compare Kyler Murray to Russell Wilson right now. Russell Wilson had a lot more time within the NFL, and this guy can throw dimes. Now, I feel like he should really look at some tape from what Russell Wilson does. As far as height goes, I think Russell Wilson might have a few centimeters on Kyler Murray, but they're pretty much the same height in my opinion here. So I think one thing that Russell Wilson says is that he's always been playing his type of game, but one thing he always likes to do is basically see between the tackles, and he's able to go ahead and figure out there. But obviously, if you give that information to Kyler Murray, that probably won't help him out too much. He's going to have to get those reps. He's going to have to be able to get comfortable in the pocket and basically be able to kind of throw the ball blind, but also know where your wide receivers are at all times. I know it's kind of hard to say, but it's definitely something that needs to happen, especially we can't have all those overthrows against a team like the Seattle Seahawks. They will make you pay for that. Having a stats of 9 out of 24, I believe that was his completion rate last game, that's not going to fly whenever we play a great team like the Seattle Seahawks that is basically an offensive team. Key to success number 2, I think it's very imperative to have another game like Kenyon Drake had against the Dallas Cowboys. Not only that, but against last year's Seattle Seahawks defense, Kenyon Drake went off, and that's the type of game that we need to see from Kenyon Drake. He needs to be able to go north and stop stutter stepping like David Johnson used to do, go from east to west, all those little shifty moves that he tries to do. He needs to get that out of his mind. The coaching staff really needs to get on him and say, hey, this is the game plan. You see the hole, you basically accelerate, and that's what's going to get you your big runs from here on out. I think it's imperative that our run game needs to be a big focal point in this game, because we're able to open up the passing game if it works. We're able to manage the clock on our own time if it works. So that's like a big key for emphasis for me, that Kenyon Drake really needs to get going, and once that happens, everything opens up from there. Key success number 3 here for me, I honestly feel like the Seattle Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys have kind of similar defenses where they give up multiple points and they give up multiple yards. Now that's a big opportunity for the Arizona Cardinals to take advantage of that situation here. I'm really surprised that Kyler Murray had a completion rate out of I think it was 9 out of 24 on versus the Dallas Cowboys game, but this is a really big game for Kyler Murray to basically dot up that defense, whether it's DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, Larry Fitz, down here on the bottom, or take a deep shot to Andy Isabella. Andy Isabella also needs to make sure that he's able to track down those balls and get that comfortability and that connection and that chemistry with Kyler Murray, because honestly, we can definitely use some big bombs down the field with either Christian Kirk or Andy Isabella. This is going to be a very good game. This is going to be a very good game. I can definitely see this game be a shootout, just how I kind of thought the Dallas Cowboys was going to be a shootout. I obviously was completely wrong and it was a blowout. I can see this one being a shootout. The biggest difference between the Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys is that we're playing Russell Wilson, not Andy Dalton. So although their defense is pretty similar as far as giving up yards and giving up tons of points, Russell Wilson always has a backup plan. He's always going to be able to back up his defense with his playmaking abilities. So biggest things here is that we need to make sure Russell Wilson is not comfortable back there, always keeping the spy on Russell Wilson, making sure that he doesn't get out of the pocket, try to make all those runs with his legs. We need to be able to contain him, because bottom line, it's all going to come down to Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson. Whoever makes those plays, those 1 or 2, 3 different plays with their legs or with their arm, is really going to define this type of game. And honestly, the Arizona Cardinals can really use this win. We need to make sure that we're step by step and getting this win going into our bye week. It's only going to help us that much more, because right after the bye week, we're looking into playing the Miami Dolphins with a Tua Tagovailoa quarterback playing. So that's going to be really cool, interesting to see as well. But this one is a really not a must win for the Arizona Cardinals, but a great momentum win from here on out, guys. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think is going to happen on this game? My prediction for this game is going to be let's say, I want to say 34-28, Arizona Cardinals end up winning this game. I feel like it's going to be a high-scoring game. 34 points to the Arizona Cardinals and 28 points for the Seattle Seahawks, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, but that's all I got for this episode. Thank you so very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thank you so much.